All right, James.
All right. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is James Greer. I'm a supply and transportation manager at MFA Oil in Columbia, and also chairman of the MFA Oil Foundation. I live in Columbia, but everybody talk about their Missouri roots. I'm originally from Marshfield, grandson of two farmers, both sides of the family, and then spent some time in Kirksville in my younger life. And Laura, I've been to Canesville many times, so you brought back some memories when you said that. So beautiful town out in the river bottom. So all right, just wanted to go over the history of the MFA Oil Foundation and what is available today for organizations out there in our market area. So Tanya, if you want to move a slide on me there. Okay, so the MFA Oil Foundation, if you move to slide 2, it talks about the origin of the foundation. Was created the thought of Dale Creech, who was a longtime MFA Oil CEO for a little over 20 years. During his tenure, thought of a way to give back to communities besides our traditional MFA Foundation for college scholarships, which we partner with MFA Incorporated on that. We decided to start our own organization. So it was founded in 1998 and founded to support communities we serve. And the decision at the time was to fund that with non-member business. And what that meant was our tire stores and convenience stores and other entities that we own that are not in the MFA Oil Cooperative, so that we did not take money from members that would be returned in patronage. So to be eligible, on this third slide there, it talks about the eligibility to receive an MFA Oil Foundation grant. So if you could move a slide there, Tanya. Maybe I can do it. Nope, I can't do it.
Okay. All right. Let me go back here and see which one do we need to be on.
The one before that. There we go.
This one here?
Yes. Okay, so there's three main qualifications you got to meet to be eligible for a grant. One is that you have a 501c3 status from the IRS. We have at times, there is also a 501c4 that is something, I guess it's fairly new, that we will consider also. And then our grant request must be for tangible items, meaning that a recurring expense, normal operating expense that you have for an item is not eligible. But if there is a like, you know, for helping build a park, or items for supporting a fire department, or supporting a special program in 4-H FFA in a school, all of those kind of things, school sponsored sports investments, like we've done help for locker rooms and fences, etc., are what we consider tangible items. And that kind of goes along with what I already said, the third point there, that operating expenses are not eligible for consideration. So to give you a little bit of flavor of what we've been able to do over the last 25 years, if you move to the next slide, which would be number 4.
Am I on the right one?
No,
one more.
Go down one more.
Let's see here.
There you go. You
Right
just
there. giving history. There you go. All right, the fiscal year of our foundation runs September to August, and in our last fiscal year, we awarded 132 grants with a dollar total of a little over of $220,000. So that means, since our foundation's inception, we've given just short of 1,200 grants, awarded for a total of $3.3 million. So in terms of grant size, most of our grants are $2,000 or under, and that's how we try to spread to as many people as we can. We have at times done larger projects that were going to benefit a large geographic area, but for the most part, they're $2,000. So the next slide, which is that map there, will show you over the years the locations that we have supported. We already clicked on it. It's just taking a minute to show up.
Some side effects can lead to dehydration, which may cause kidney problems.
Yeah, can you see it?
Wegovy helps us lose weight and keep it off.
I can see it, but it's over to the side. So
Okay. I show it full screen on mine. Can everybody else see it?
that's fine. I will
Okay.
continue on then. So,
Okay.
all right. So this slide just shows you the geographic reach of our foundation over the years. Most of the grants we've given away are in Missouri, and that makes sense. That's our largest market area. And when you see any other states, like Kansas, we weren't highly invested into the last few years. Oklahoma in the late 90s, and Indiana around 2010. So that's why most of our grants are in Missouri. But that just shows you where the places that have got them over the years. And then there's on the last slide is just the address for the internet address for our foundation, which is part of MFA Oil's website. And then then there's a YouTube video that we produced showing a little more detail about a few of the grants that we did a couple years ago, and just to highlight what our foundation does. There's a grant from Lynn, Missouri, Bowling Green, and then a school outside of Jeff City in Wardsville where they just highlight what we've been able to do in those towns. So. And it lasts about 6 minutes long, so you can watch at your convenience. So is there any? I'll be glad to answer any questions.
Hi, this is Laura. Thank you very much for speaking to us today. And I hope, James, that you come back and visit Canesville. We would love to see you. I do have a question, though. The address, I was unable to see that slide that has the link.
Okay. Well, it's just mfaoil.com/foundation.
Thank you very much.
Sorry. All right. Any other questions?
Hey, James.
Yes.
This is Tanya. Can you go back and kind of give us a little bit of the history of how MFA Oil came to be in the foundation, how it started?
Okay. Well, MFA Oil started in 1929, and I think our first location was in Wright City, Missouri. And being a cooperative, one of the foundations of a co-op is to give back to the community, since the members of the community are your owners. So the foundation started as a thought from our executive team and CEO in the late 90s to do this with our other earnings that were non-member. That's where it all got started, and we decided that we'd grown enough to have our own foundation, and so that's how we arrived where we are today.
Okay. I do have a question here in the chat. Somebody asked if you can submit at any time of the year, or is there a submission period for your grants?
We typically have 3 submission periods a year. And the next one actually it's good timing, will open on April 3rd. And the usually the first part of that is open for about 3 weeks, where you do your grant submission. And then once that piece is approved, you can go back into the website that we use to put in your supporting documentation for final approval, and then it will be submitted to the foundation board at the next meeting, which would be the 1st of June. So we typically have those meetings in one in the early fall, one in the summer, and then one during the winter time. So we usually have 3 meetings a year.
Okay. Okay. Does anybody else have any other questions about MFA or the foundation or any of their grants? You said that some of the grants are they're for tangible things. Can you kind of give us an example of what some of the applications have been for in the past?
Sure. We've done projects like here's an example of the in California, Missouri, their senior center. They've gotten 2-3 grants over the years for, a new freezer, or the senior center in Marshfield, Missouri. We've given them money to do landscaping. Fire departments. We've done a lot of support over the years for fire departments. Thermal imaging cameras seems to be the number one item that they can't find enough funding for, and that's where we come in. We've helped police departments with specific radios. We've funded, like we talked about, 4-H and FFA. We've helped them a lot with special programs if they're building a rodeo arena, or and I'm trying to think, and then in Nevada, we've done helped them with a marquee sign for the youth fairgrounds. We've helped many schools with scoreboard project initiatives, fencing initiatives, locker room initiatives. I could keep thinking I could keep you busy 30 minutes as I dream them up, but that's the kind of stuff that we've been able to support. When it comes to not just school athletic programs, but local athletic programs, that they needed money for special projects like bleachers, et cetera, we've been able to do that too. So. All
right, great. Brittany raised her hand. Did you have a question? You are muted, Brittany, just in case.
Yes, thank you so much. Is it provided for reimbursement for those types of things? So for example, we have some softball dugouts that are being built, but private funds were used for that on the plan that the 501c3 organization would pay them back over a period of time. Is it granted to, so I'm interested to know that if the 501c3 organization that would have to pay those investors back, would it be granted for those kinds of things?
Yes, and so how that works is once you submit your application and that's approved, and then there's some additional paperwork that you turn in for like your IRS 501c3 letter, an estimate of what you want to do. Some organizations go ahead and buy the item, and then the money comes after it's approved at the foundation meeting. They're doing that with it unapproved, but we've noticed, especially in the last year and a half or so, that's a little more normal, because what happens is someone will do a grant application and it's another 4 weeks before we see it. In the world of supply chain and pricing, things change or it's not available. So that's okay. So.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much.
Okay. Thank you, Brittany. Sue, did you have a question or comment?
Going back to the projects that you funded, first of all, I would like you to know, Mr. Greer, it's an honor to meet you, because you have helped our community this sounds over dramatic, but we've done some amazing things. I know Commissioner Crawford can attest to this as well. We've literally taken $2,000 is a lot of money to us, and we've used it for a couple of projects. We've done we've corrected some things at our historical society, which are huge, very extremely visible to the people passing by, and as far as economic development, that's been huge. But even more importantly, we have a small airport that was in pretty much disrepair and underutilized for sure. And that seed money, we don't get any money from the government, from the FAA. That seed money literally jump-started. We went from 3 years ago, when we asked for that money, we were a piece of ground with some pavement on it, to planes flying in and out of there, small planes. I mean, it's a small airport, but it allowed us to put in a lounge for the pilots, and we have planes flying in and out of there every weekend. All of the labor that, and we leveraged that money. Everything was done with volunteer labor. And again, Commissioner Crawford, as an electrician, crawled around down there for days, fixing electricity. We had to siphon the water off of the whole area, and then, we started literally from scratch. So I think we're some pretty good poster children for having successful MFA Oil Foundation projects. And so, like your next video, we're available.
Okay. We know where Buffalo is. So.
Yes, we are always available to help promote anything, because we have had great success with a lot of the projects that we've had. So we're always very appreciative of those supporters and stuff. Sue, did you have something else?
Yes, I completely forgot what you've done for the fairgrounds. I was just all about my own stuff, but Mr. Crawford, Commissioner Crawford, is also head of the fair board, and we have a fair that is small but extremely significant in our community. And because it's a stepping stone to all of these families, it's a great training ground, a great place for youth to come in and practice their skills at showing animals. It's an ag-based fair. And during the COVID time, they kept the fair going, and we literally had people coming, a whole lot of new people coming in from all of the state that we hadn't had before, and they've stuck with it. And I know a couple of times, maybe more than once, you've funded some activities or some capital investments at the fairgrounds, which have really, we discussed some nice stuff out there. So John will have to speak to that. I forgot. I just wanted to add that to the list. And Tanya uses it for the Celtic Festival too.
Oh, yeah. Yes. Yes, we have a very nice facility. We are very appreciative of that as well. Does anybody else have any other questions? Or John, you unmuted, so John.
Yeah, I would also echo what Sue has said. Our new restrooms down there, MFA Oil Foundation, some years ago got involved with that, and we have new restrooms down at our fairgrounds also. They played a part in that. So thank you very much.
I would say it's very difficult to run a fair or an airport without a toilet.
Yes, we have very nice bathroom facilities down there. So that is very appreciative, and thank you for the support from MFA Oil for that. Brittany, you unmuted. Did you have something?
Yeah, I didn't have a question, but I grew up an ag kid in, granted, it wasn't in Missouri, it was in West Texas. I showed livestock my whole life. I was in FFA, and I would not have had the roots and the foundation and the upbringing that I had without programs and sponsors and donors like yours. So it just really hits home for me. I'm now 35. My kids will show and be active in FFA. I say that they're only 2 and 4, but we have big plans for them to be involved in FFA and show cattle. So just thank you from the bottom of my heart. I know maybe you specifically didn't impact me, but it wouldn't be possible without donors like you all over the country. So thank you.
Right. Well, thank you. Hey, thank you, Brittany. And that does bring up another thought. We do, a lot of you in rural Missouri know what the Agri-Ready county designation program is through Missouri Farmers Care. Another program of Missouri Farmers Care is called Ag Education on the Move. And that's where educators come into the classroom, typically 3rd or 4th graders, and teach them I call it the truth about agriculture. And so the MFA Foundation supports that program every year. And I think it is very important because I stress the words, the truth about agriculture, because some of those educators have found brochures from organizations like PETA in the classroom when they go in to do their teaching. So.
Can we find out all of that information if we go to the Missouri Farmers Care site?
Yes, Missouri Farmers Care has, they have those programs. So.
Thank you.
Okay, and does anybody have any other questions or, yes, Brittany dropped it in there. It is mofarmerscare.com. Thank you, Brittany. I did post the other links that James had on his presentation. The YouTube link is in the comments, and the MFA Oil Foundation. It's mfaoil.com/foundation if you would like to look that up. Are there any other questions? If anybody has before we go ahead and let James go for the day. We appreciate you coming and joining us, James, and sharing information about MFA Oil Foundation. I did have one thing. You said you do have 3 submission periods. The first one's coming up here, April 3rd, it opens.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And what is what's the next 2 open dates?
Well, the next one, we usually don't determine that until after the next meeting is over.
Okay.
Because being a not-for-profit foundation ourselves, we have to stay within certain how many dollars we can give away in a year.
Gotcha.
So the next meeting, the grant period will open at the beginning of April, and then our meeting will be in early June. And then I suspect that our next meeting will not be until September or early October. So the next grant opening would be probably in middle August after the one in April.
Okay.
So.
All right. But they can find that out on your website, correct?
Yes.
Okay, great. I do have another question here. CC wanted to know, are there specific amounts of the grants?
Well, we for most grants, we do put a $2,000 maximum on there. And that is just for the fact that so we can help more organizations. But I did mention earlier that for large projects, we have given away more than $2,000.
Okay. All right. Any other questions? Somebody, Shelley wanted to know, she says, do you guys prefer to be the sole funder on a project?
Oh, no, not at all. It's whatever kind of project it is. Like when I mentioned, sometimes we've helped support schools with large products or large projects like for scoreboards or locker rooms. Yeah, we are, when you're talking about a $30,000 scoreboard, $2,000 is just a small piece of that. So.
Okay. Awesome. Great. Any other questions? Okay. Well, thank you all for joining us, and thank you, James Greer with MFA Oil Foundation for joining us today. As I mentioned, in the comments, the chat box, there are those links. We will also pull those out. We do post our videos on YouTube, so those links will also be put on there with YouTube, so you can go to those. We appreciate it, and you'll find we're starting to get on the website. The YouTube videos will start to be linked. If you go to where the Lunch and Learn listing is on the Missouri Community Better website, we've got a link there. I hope it works. If you find it doesn't work, let me know so we can get it fixed. But we do have a link to those videos, so you can find those, as well as the listing of our next Lunch and Learn. We do those on the third Wednesday of every month at noon. So our next one will be in April. Thank you all for joining us. Thank you again, James. And if you guys have any questions, I can get you in contact with James. How's the best way for somebody to get in touch with you if they need to ask a couple more questions, James?
My email address is very simple, jgreer@mfaoil.com, and that's JGREER. So my office number is 573-876-0397.
97. All right. Thank you, James. And thank you all again. And we will see you next month. Thank you.
All right, thank you.